Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out scams to avoid when visiting London, even for seasoned travelers.
Hello from London. Listen, London is generally a pretty safe city, but it is a big city. So there are some things that you do need to do while you're here to keep yourself and your belongings safe. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about some common scams you might come across when you visit London and how you can avoid them. So
Cool.
let's get into it.
Rickshaws.
So we have these rickshaws that will go all around central London and in the touristy areas, and they are basically unregulated. And while there are, of course, lots of, I'm sure, very honest drivers who will charge you the normal rate that you're supposed to be charged to take one of those, I've heard so many stories of tourists that agreed a price when they first got into it, and then when they got to the destination, another higher price was demanded of them. And I've heard enough stories that I definitely would say that is best to avoid these.
That's
if you want a
messed up.
different way to get around central London that's not a rickshaw, you could rent a city bike, which is called a Santander bike. You could get one of the Lime electric bikes or the other companies that offer them here. Or, of course, you could support a great small business and do a bike tour or a walking tour around the area. And we'll put lots of suggestions for companies that we think do great tours around central London in the description box of the video. Support small business.
I love the idea of a bike tour. That sounds fun. I might do that. Fake tickets.
The second scam I want to talk about is selling of fake tickets. Now listen, I know it's kind of annoying if you come to London and the show that you wanted to see was sold out, or you haven't managed to get tickets for a certain attraction yet. But if somebody comes up to you in like Leicester Square, where we are, or Piccadilly Circus, offering to sell you tickets, and especially if they are at a big discount, avoid. A lot of times these places or these people are scamming you, and you're going to actually end up losing a lot of money and have pieces of paper that don't get you into anywhere.
That's evil.
To avoid the little shops near Covent Garden and Leicester Square that are selling half-price tickets. They're not a scam. They are selling actual tickets usually, but they often come at a pretty big markup, so you're better off just avoiding. Also, beware of anyone trying to sell tickets for anything that is free. For example, watching Changing the Guard at Buckingham Palace. Anyone can go. You don't need a ticket. You don't need to pay for one, definitely. That is completely free. You do not.
That's kind of funny.
Completely free. You do not. Don't give anyone any money for that. You literally just rock up and watch. There are some things you can do to protect yourself. First of all, as a rule, do not buy any tickets from anybody off the street.
Good policy. Yeah.
Second of all, always buy your tickets either from the venue's actual website or a reputable seller like Today Tix and the TKTS booth and official London Theatre website are all great for buying your theater tickets. And to avoid any disappointment, make sure you book things like theater and attractions in advance. By the way, if it's your first time visiting London, we have a free London trip checklist, which tells you everything you need to do, book, and buy before you come, and when you need to do it by. So to get that for free, click the link in the description box of the video and sign up.
If you want that, I don't have that link in my description, but I do have a link for the original video in the description. So you could click that and then click that, and you're set.
Then there's the street game scam. Sometimes called 3-card Monte, sometimes the cup and ball game. There's basically a bunch of different variations of these street games that people play on the major bridges, like here at Westminster Bridge, or around the major tourist attractions. Basically, the way it works is there'll be a guy on the side of the bridge with 3 cups in front of him, and he'll put one ball under one of the cups. Then he'll bet a passerby like 20 pounds that the person can't find the ball after he judges up the cups. And it's basically unwinnable because with sleight of hand, the person gets rid of the ball. And so the ball's under none of the cups. So no matter which cup you choose, you're not going to win.
That's an age-old scam. I feel like the cavemen were pulling that scam back in the day.
And it's the same with the card game as well. These games are also run by groups of people. There's usually one person watching for law enforcement, one person who is an actual winner but is a fake plan, so it makes it look like it is actually winnable. And overall, you just want to avoid all of this. Also, even if you're just watching, the area right around these places are usually prime spots for pickpockets. So make sure you are keeping an eye on your stuff. And actually just don't watch this stuff. I mean, really, you're going to come to London and watch some balls and cups?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Waste of time. Fake
So this one
Wi-Fi.
is a bit more high tech, but it could be a problem for tourists who don't have access to their own data roaming when they're in London. Scammers can use something called a pineapple, not the fruit, sadly, but it's basically where they set up a fake Wi-Fi that people connect to, and then as soon as you connect to it, scammers can basically access everything on your phone. Your social media profiles, any credit card or bank information you put in, your contacts to try to do some phishing scams. What they do is they set up a Wi-Fi network that looks like it's supposed to be the secure one, like at the airport or in an area with lots of shops, so that you connect to it, but then actually it's not the secure one. It's the one that's gonna take all of your information. Luckily, there are a few ways that you can avoid this. First, you can get your own data roaming package, whether that's through your original phone provider, or you can get a UK SIM or download an eSIM. And we have some reputable companies that we recommend linked in the description box of this video. If you have to use Wi-Fi, make sure you use the legitimate one for the place that you're in. For example, cafes and shops usually will have a sign on the wall with the actual name of their own network and the password. So make sure you connect to the exact one, because the scammers usually make one that has like an underscore after it or that looks almost the same.
Yep.
You could also protect yourself by setting up a VPN on your phone and your devices, which is a virtual private network. And that basically protects all of your data and your devices from being scammed from these pineapples. Basically, your best bet is to have data set up on your phone so you can use that as much as possible without having to connect to potentially rogue Wi-Fis.
I've heard of scammers setting up free Wi-Fi around airports so that as soon as you land, people take their phones off airplane mode and then their phone will automatically connect to that scammy Wi-Fi. That's how they get you. Phone theft?
This next one will show you that you definitely should not be leaving anything valuable on a table when you're in London, or really like any major city. This happens everywhere. Basically, there's a thing where if you leave, let's say, your phone on the table, that someone comes over and they've got some clipboard or a piece of paper, and they're usually asking for something that's like quite nice. Like, oh, would you mind signing this petition that supports our local boys football team for young people or something like that? And you're like, obviously I would sign that. That's so easy. Then they take the clipboard or the piece of paper and they put it down on top of your phone or your valuable. Without you noticing, you sign, and then they take it away and say, thank you so much. Oh my God, you're so nice. And they take your phone with it before you even
Evil.
notice. Because you're really busy thinking about how good of a person you are, which
Evil.
makes sense. So, moral of the story is don't ever leave any valuables on the table. I have actually seen this happen in person a lot, both inside places like pubs and bars, but also when sat outside. So, rule of thumb, keep it in a pocket or in your bag.
That is so evil. Yo, what are we doing to each other?
Remember, London is generally very safe, but hopefully these tips will make sure that you keep your...
Wow, this is really good information. And to Londoners' credit, I don't think that these are specific scams to London. I think any big city is going to have this kind of stuff. Come to think of it, even small cities or small towns, there are still evil people trying to scam you. What a shame. I'm surprised she didn't mention, like, watch salesmen. I know in New York City, there's a lot of people in Times Square trying to sell watches. They'll try to sell you a Rolex, but it's actually called Polex or Rolox, and it's made of plastic. That's how they get you. But I know when I'm on vacation, if I go to a new city or something, I'm in kind of vacation mindset where the money, it's kind of like Monopoly money. It doesn't really matter. And this whole new world that I'm in feels fresh and exciting and positive and new. And you just are not expecting to be scammed. So really good to keep an eye out for these things. Great video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.